Hello everyone. I'm back for my I believe ninth journal entry now. Um just got back from the gym, so got the endorphins flowing, feeling better. But yeah, I missed my journal yesterday because I was in Vermont mountains with some friends. Um I had a lot of fun. It took my mind off things definitely. But even then, I was telling my friend like he was actually the first one I told about my actually he was the first person I told in person about my breakup. Um, but yeah, like I was telling him because he also went through a breakup like a couple of years ago. But he said he could relate to me in a lot of things I was feeling, and so yeah, I was telling him about like because he said he experienced something similar, but like how I like imprint easily on things or on people, and so I get really close to them, and then like every little thing reminds me of them, especially with people I'm really close with. Like the smallest thing will just trigger a memory for me. And yeah, I was experiencing that a lot, especially on the drive up and the drive down from Vermont, because in order to drive to Vermont, I have to go north. Um, and in order to go north, and look, she lives north of me, and so like whenever I went to visit her, I would always drive north on the same exact road. So driving that road, sometimes elicits memories of those times, and so yeah, I was telling him like yeah, like the smallest things will just get me going essentially, making me miss her. And yeah, I was experiencing that a lot yesterday. Being in the mountains though, I didn't really experience it that much. I was much more focused in the moment, on nature, and it was so beautiful. But there were times I was hiking, and I just was like thinking of her because like we love to go hiking. That's like our first few dates, and I'd say most of our dates actually were hiking because that's all you can really do in my state, in the great state of Connecticut. But yeah, um, yeah, I was definitely missing her a lot, and um, yeah, but I don't know. This trip definitely helped me recover a bit more. I really wanted to text her this past weekend, like last Saturday when I actually texted her. But yeah, I was really tempted to text her, and I actually wrote out a text that got workshopped a little bit. But then I asked my friend Mickey whether or not she thought it was a good idea, and she said no. Um, and so I heeded her advice. Um, but I still kind of want to text her, but I'm not until I'm planning on getting dinner with Mickey and asking or picking her brain a little bit more in person. But yeah, this is the text that I wrote just in case I have it written down, but for the video. Hey, sorry for taking so long to respond. I hope the first few days of Pit have been good, and thanks for the well wishes. I think I've just been really emotional lately, and I didn't want to send something that I would end up regretting. I've just been taking a while to process everything, and I've just been hurting a lot. I think time has healed some wounds, but some of what happened still hurts a lot. This past week has been really rough, not having someone to yap to, but each day I'm slowly doing better. Part of me wants to start talking to you again, but another part of me tells me that might be a bad idea. IDK. I really hope you're doing better than I am. IDK, when I'll be able to talk about everything, but hopefully soon. Hope you keep having fun in Pittsburgh. And yeah, I think part of me still harbors some anger because I think retrospectively, like I feel like sometimes I want to text her to try and elicit an emotion out of her. Um, but that's like some like deep seated part of me. I think my main goal with this, with texting her at least, um, is because I know how I feel right now. I really want to hear from her. I really want to like hear how she's doing essentially. And right now maybe it's just like instant gratification kind of thing that I just want to know how she's doing. Um, and I feel like that would heal me a little bit, but maybe like a temporary heal. that will just like lead to more pain later on, you know. That'll just delay the healing process. That's what I think might happen. But my reasoning is basically just like, I know how much I would like to hear, you know, as much of a like a bitchy move it might sound, or like as like bad as it may sound. I know how much I would appreciate like truly hearing her emotions right now. Like like if she is hurting, like truly hearing, hey, like I know, um, like hey Daniel, like I hope you're doing well. Like I'm hurting a bit. Like I know how much that would comfort me a lot. Because it would basically ease away the voices in my head telling me, hey, she's completely moved on. You know, she ditched you. She couldn't care less about you. Because there are voices, I know voices in my head. Now there are like parts of me that are just telling me like, hey, she doesn't care about you at all. You know, now like she's completely moved on. She's disregarded you. Yeah, basically that. Like that after a whole year and a bit, like a year and a half of knowing each other, and a year and a bit of like fully dating one another, that after all that, after loving you for so long in that, so hard, what seems like in that year, she completely flipped a switch and just went to not caring about you in the slightest. That's what part of me tells me, and that hurts a lot. It it feels like betrayal, for someone that you care so closely about, that someone that you truly love, to go from seemingly caring about you so much to flipping a switch and saying, no, I don't care about you. That's what it seems like to me. That's what part of me tells me is going on, and that hurts a lot. Me saying that, like, it gets me thinking, like shoot, like what's God feeling? Like whenever I sin, like me like saying to his face so much, like, hey, I love you, God. Like thank you for everything you do, lifting praises to him, just to go turn around and sin and not really care about it. Like how much more does God feel this? Like that's crazy that he still loves me after all that, and he gives me another chance. That's insane. Um, but yeah, like as I was saying, before I went on that little diatribe, um, yeah, like I know how much I would like how much it would soothe me to hear her true emotions. And so as such, like I typically think other people think like me, right? I think like I'm the average, even though that might not be the case. But like I typically think, like and it's probably not the case now that like when I really think about it, but like like you usually think that everyone around you like thinks similarly to you at the very least, especially the people you're really close with, unless obviously otherwise. And so with her, like knowing her, I feel like she's hurting a lot right now. And I feel like me taking this step out, and saying like, hey, this is how I'm really feeling. um I know how much that would like benefit benefit me if she did the same. So like part of me wants to like do the same for her, and reach out to her and like let her know my emotions right now. Cuz like as much as I like am a T, I understand my emotions pretty well. And I'd like to think I understand other people's emotions pretty well as well. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from. And like now that I'm thinking about it more, like my original thoughts were like, okay, she could be in two states right now. She could be in a state similar to me, where she's hurting, she's going through this like emotional pain, like wondering how I'm doing, um, and that's like hurting her not knowing, um, or she could just not care essentially. But I think there are like scenarios where like I'm not like fully seeing, like where she's like further on in the healing process than I am, and she's kind of sort of moved on but not fully, and me texting her might negatively impact her in that process. So yeah, now that I think about it more, it's probably not the best idea. Um, but yeah, I mean, I was in an emotional state, I'd say, and so I found it rereading that text pretty um ironic that like one of the first thing I wrote is I think I've just been really emotionally and didn't want to send something, or didn't want to send something I would end up regretting. Um, Thankfully I had my friends around me to stop me from doing something that might hurt her. Um, but yeah, thankful thankful for my friends. Yeah, yeah, it's still hard. And it's gonna continue to be hard, I know. I actually got a really comforting text message yesterday night, from a friend. She said like on her I saw it on her Instagram story. She was in Montpellier. Oui, oui, baguette. Sorry for the French people watching this, because I know y'all are watching this. But yeah, um, yeah, I saw she was in Montpelier, and me being in Vermont, I'm like, oh, are you in Vermont? Like, what? Like, what? I didn't know you were in Vermont. And she's like, no, I'm studying abroad in France. And I'm like, oh wait, I remember you told me this. Um, but yeah, like she asked me how I was doing, and I told her, I don't want to keep this from people, just because I kept it from people last time, and look how that turned out. And letting the people around like how you're doing, really helps. And so she sent a really great text message. Let me heart it real quick. uh, oh wait, sorry, I'm just responding to your text. um, um, she said, "I totally understand. Keep taking it day by day. Some days will be tough, and some days will be better than others. I know it may seem hard right now, but things do and will get better in the end. Give yourself grace. You've got some big, exciting plans ahead." So yeah, that message really lifted me up. Cause some days are really rough, especially the days where I'm reminded of her a lot. And yesterday was one of those days. Hiking all day after most of my dates with her were hiking. Yeah, it's a little rough. Um, I was reminded her a lot, and part of me really wants her back, but the majority of me knows that one, it's probably never gonna happen. And two, if it ever does happen, it's a bad idea. But I'd say it's right now it's like 51-49. It's like a coin toss whether or not I'll be dumb and just if she like came back and said, "Oh, Daniel, can you get back together?" Which I doubt would ever happen because she's a lot more mature than I am, and she probably knows this, and she probably would never do that. But it'd probably be a coin toss if she ever did do that, like you know, without having changed at all. Like a coin toss of whether or not I'd say yes. Cause like if she like hypothetically, and I've run this hypothetical in my head a lot of times, you definitely know that. But like hypothetically, if she like came back to me and said like, yeah, I spent this like last few months reflecting on my faith, and I really deemed my faith, and like I'm gonna get baptized and like all that, and like if she came up to me, told me that, and like showed evidence, like yeah, I'd probably get back with her. Now, the odds of that happening, slim, slim to none, I'd say. You know, I hope God answers my prayers and, works in her life, and makes her a Christian. I truly hope that. But I don't know. Maybe it's just the pessimism in me right now. But I just don't see, like, how that's gonna happen for her. And God's plans are much greater than mine, so it's probably that I just don't understand how God's working. Um, but yeah, like, not to criticize her or her church or anything, but the people she surrounds herself with are not exactly paragons of Christianity, as I've said before. And so, like, with people like that around you, I don't know. I mean, God has done more or less. So, it's beyond me. And I know that God's going to do amazing things. So, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, today, all I did was, I guess that was all yesterday's stuff. But, yeah, today, yeah, drove back, came back home, didn't do much. Like, got Ben and Jerry's. Um, Drove back, went to the gym, took a nap, stuff like that. Classic stuff. I mean, this time I wasn't really reminded of her, but when I was what do you call it? When I was putting away some clean clothes, um, I saw, we went to a photo booth. We went to a photo booth twice actually. One of the strips is in my room. The other one is in a backpack, and that second one's gonna hurt a lot more in the backpack because it's more recent, and it's when we went to New York, and that was probably one of the best days of my life. So having to relive that, I'm not gonna take it out for a while, because I know having to take that out, having to see it, and being reminded of her and one of the best days of my life is gonna hurt a lot. And I don't want to rip that band-aid off yet. But yeah. Also another thing that I've just been thinking about, like when we broke up, or when she dumped me, I should say, I asked her, like, I know you have like all this stuff of mine, or not of mine, but like I gifted you, or of like pictures of us together, like remnants of me, essentially vestiges of me, um, in your room. And I was like, I, I literally told her, like, I'm just gonna be curious about this, so I'm gonna ask you, like, what are you gonna do with those? Because like she has like the same photo booth pictures. She like kept the movie ticket stub from the first time we went to the movies together. I gave her a photo book on our 1 year anniversary, which I've talked about before. Um, I gave her like plushies, like crochet flowers and a crochet cat or mouse or something like that. Um, what else? I there's a lot. Yes, and so like I asked, like, I know you have all this stuff for me. Like, what are you gonna do with it? And she said, like, oh, I don't know. Maybe just put it in a box. And yeah, that hurt a lot when I heard that. You know, cause yeah, I understand. Hiding it away because you don't wanna feel it. But being relegated to a box hurts a little bit. But I still understand where she's coming from. Like, you don't want to be reminded of it constantly. Like me personally, like what I did, I just like took that photo booth picture and just put it under one of my books, right? I just hid it for a bit. But I don't know. Putting it in a box seems like much more like, oh, I'm gonna throw you away. Like I'm gonna store you away and not care about it, you know? Like you're just in the back of my head now kind of vibe. And like when I heard that one, like when getting broken up with, I mean obviously it makes sense. Um but yeah, it still hurt. That much less so than a lot of the other stuff. But and that one I caused myself. I asked, so I'm not. That one doesn't really hurt too much. I asked for that. But yeah, that's really the only thing that happened today. We went to church today in Vermont. For a nice service, but there wasn't really a service. It was their confirmation service, and so they're just going through like a lot of the confirmation stuff. So it wasn't really a sermon or anything. We just sat through like 10 kids getting confirmed, which is still joyous, don't get me wrong. Like it makes me happy to see that there's still like youth out there who are chasing Christ. Yeah, and that's happy. That makes me happy. But yeah, that's about it for today. Definitely feeling better than last week overall, but still hurting a lot, you know. Still reminded her of her on a daily basis. Still obsessed, I'd say. Um, yeah, I still like find myself just thinking about her randomly, wondering what she's up to, and it's not healthy. And I wish I could stop. I really do. But I mean, this just shows that, I still care about her and that, I really cared about her. I really did love her. And I hope she really did love me. Yeah. Alright. That's enough for Journal 9. Alright. See you guys. I can't stop myself from falling down. Could you find a way to let me down slowly? A little sympathy, I hope you can show me. If you wanna go, then I'll be so lonely. If you're leaving, baby, let me down slowly. Let me down, down, let me down, down, let me down, let me down, down, let me down, down, let me down. If you wanna go, then I'll be so lonely. If you're leaving, baby, let me down slowly. If you wanna go, then I'll be so lonely. If you're leaving, baby, let me down slowly.